All right, so we're recording now, by the looks of it. We're going to use a text editor called Brackets, and let's see if we have it installed here. Looks like we do. So please bring up Brackets, and we're going to write our first JavaScript program. Your online portion of the class assignment is to write a little report about researching text editors or code editors, I should say, and then write a little report which ones you found, which ones seem to be more popular, pros and cons, and so on. So the one we use in class is Brackets because we have it installed here. If you want to use something else, that's fine. Aaron is going to talk about his favorite editor at some point, which is Atom. But for now, we'll stick with Brackets. Okay, so go ahead and start Brackets, and then we're going to do some hand coding together. If you have any issues not finding something I'm referring to, please raise your hand and let me know. Right. Are we good then? Did everyone find Brackets? It's working, and I did put a ticket for FileZilla, so hopefully this will get resolved. All right, so we're going to have a new file. So save file new, and then save as. Magnify here. You're going to save it. Now, where would you save the file? Well, I like to save it to the desktop, and the desktop is not available. That's new.
You just can't use the quick access. So if you go down desktop there,
Hang on, let me get out of Magnify so I can see what I'm doing here. Right, so let's see here. Users.
I saw your name in the users.
Did you?
Yeah. It's first name first. So.
Okay. This is a new setup. So I'm sorry, I haven't seen this before. That's different. So I'm trying to find the desktop. Does anyone know where the desktop is from here?
We'll
find it, but
it's not under just local disk C.
Where are you seeing that?
That's way out. Okay. Yeah, under.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's what I want. Okay, so save it. I like to save it on the desktop because otherwise you can see it's hard for me to find it anyway. Save it somewhere that is easy for you to find, and then if you need to copy the file and take home, you can do so. So in any case, this is now saved on the desktop. We only have one file. Generally, when we work with more than one file with Bracket, we're going to need to create a project folder, and I'll show you how to do this later. Okay, so we have our first .html. So let me see if I can do this differently. So JavaScript, as we talked last time, resides within the script tags. You can put it on an HTML page, or you can put it in a separate file. In this example, we're going to put it on the HTML page. So let's create our page first for our document. This will be first JavaScript. Can you see this font size in the back? Okay, great. All right, so we have a H2 with JavaScript. And we're going to have an H2, another H2 with the ID of output. And now we're going to add a script tag where the JavaScript is going to go. The script tags can go in a couple different places. If it's on the same page, they can go before the closing body tag, as we're doing here. They can also go in the head, right? So right now, it's a good idea to open and close the script tags right away, so you don't forget to close it. And then everything going inside the script tag is going to be JavaScript. So as I mentioned, the browser engine is going to know to switch from interpreting HTML to JavaScript. All right, so the first thing we're going to add is a comment. So when we work with a programming language, it is common that we want to add comments so it's easier for us or for other developers later to read the comments and follow what's going on. You can have a single line comment. So this is a single line comment. And JavaScript comments in the language in general is based on the C family of programming languages. So if you've taken, Java or anything else, it will look probably familiar. And so is the comment interpreted by the JavaScript engine or not?
No, it's just ignored.
It's going to be ignored. So the comments are for the humans. We can also add a multi-comment. And so to add multi-comment, and you can see how it changes color. It is going to be /*. This is a multi-line comment. It can go on and on until you close the asterisk /. So that closes the comment.
So it uses the same comment tag for multi-line concepts, SQL, CSS, and some other.
Java.
Okay.
All right, and then we're going to, so these were just to show how to add comments. Now we're going to add a comment to make a note of what we're about to do on the next line, which will be to ask the user for their name. So let's learn how we do this in JavaScript. All right, so we're going to use, we need to store the information that is given by the user so that the program can use it, right? And to do this in any language, including JavaScript, we need to store somewhere in those things where we store data. They're called variables. So we're going to create a variable, var. In JavaScript, we say var. When you say var, then this gives a note to the interpreter that this is a variable, right? And then we can have more than one variable, so we have to identify them by a name. We have to give the variable a name. And in this case, I'm going to name the variable user. So you, as the developer, will be naming your variables. And there are some conventions that I'll go over later, but for now, variable user. And then we use the equal. So equal in the programming language is not the same as equal in math. It doesn't mean that is equal, it means it's an assignment operator. So it's going to assign the right-hand side to the left-hand side. And then we're going to use a prompt, which I told you about last time. It's a built-in method that we get to use to prompt the user. So we're going to say prompt, and then prompt is going to take an argument where we specify what we want the box to display. And so we're going to say here, what is your name? And we are going to add 2 uppercase. So 2 uppercase is another built-in method that allows you to convert all the user input to uppercase. You can convert it to upper or lowercase. So that's what the 2 uppercase will do. And then, so the user will be prompted, and then the user will type their name, Stani. And then after that happens, this variable, you can think of the variable as a container again. Right? So the variable user is going to store whatever name you put. So if I put my name Stani, it's going to store Stani. If I put Aaron, it's going to store Aaron, right? So you can change the values of the variables. But until you change it, the user is going to refer to whatever it is containing, and it's available to the program. Right? Okay. So then we're going to, what we want to do in this example is to display the date. And to display a date, we need to create an object. Remember how we talked about the hotel object last time with the different properties and methods? So here we're going to create a date object. So in JavaScript, the browser gives us a date object that describes what the date might do and the properties that it would contain. So the syntax, we're creating a new object that is similar to a certain extent to a variable. So we're going to say a variable date is equal to a new, and then date with a capital case. So one thing about JavaScript you need to remember right away is that it is case sensitive. It's going to make a difference if you say new date or new date like this, right? So the case matters in JavaScript. So what we have done here is we have used the new keyword. Notice that the words that are keywords, the reserved words in the language, they're different color. So these are blue words, and this means they are part of the reserved keywords in the language. You can't use them for naming your variables. You can only use them as keywords. And the meaning of the new keyword is that it's going to create what we call a new instance of the date object, right? So there is an abstract, object date that is available, but when you say new date, it's going to create a specific instance, such as there may be an abstract hotel object, and then you can say a new hotel, the Hyatt, and then we're talking about something specific. So it's the same idea. And again, these objects are available from the browser to JavaScript. Once we create the object, then we can use the object's properties and methods. So let's go ahead and display the date and the name to the user. So it's going to be like a greeting. So we add a comment here. Display the welcome message. And remember I showed you on the slides, when you want to work with HTML elements, there are 2 parts. You have to access the elements, and then you work with it. So what we want to do is we want to display the output from JavaScript in this H2 with the ID of output. Okay, so that's where we want to put it. And to make this work in JavaScript, we're going to need to get hold of the element. So we're going to say document dot, and then here's a function called get element by ID, and it's spelled with capital I lowercase d. So what I recommend is, when you have noticed that if you say dot, then you get some available methods, right? So select it from here instead of hand typing it, as to avoid typos. So get element by ID is one of the most frequently used methods, and it essentially is going to get hold of the element with the ID we specify. And in this case, we're going to specify output, right? And is everyone now, does everyone now know what the ID means, what we mean when we say ID? what is an ID based on the quiz you just took?
Basically, like the designation or name for the specific variable that you're referencing.
I will not call it a variable. It's an element, but
The element,
it is
yeah.
right. So the ID is an attribute, and we have other attributes. The ID is a unique attribute that you can only have one unique ID per element on the page. So only this H2 can have ID of output. So you ID the element with the ID.
So is it kind of like functions similar to like a primary key in a SQL, or it's used to like reference something?
So the way it would function is that, so you have an element, and then you know what type of the element is. In this case, is H2. If you want to have additional data about the element, you store this in attributes. So the ID is an additional data about the attribute. It's its name. You can have a attribute source, SRC, and it's going to have additional data about the path to a file. You can have a class attribute. It has additional data. So that's how I would think about it. I wouldn't try to make too much knowledge with, real programming languages, because it's not.
Right, that's true.
Right. Okay. So document.getElement by ID, and if it's purple, then you probably spelled it correctly. If it's not, then we need to revisit. And you will make typos and you'll have errors. And in fact, the next thing I'm going to show you is how to troubleshoot. So that's to be expected. Don't be alarmed if things don't work the first time. Okay. So anyway, the meaning of document getElement by ID output is we are telling JavaScript, I want you to get hold of the H2 with ID of output. Now that we have it, so like we're holding it in our, imaginary hand, if you will. And then we're going to need to use a function or a property to put the output into it. And to do so, we're going to use inner HTML property. So inner HTML will place content inside the element that we have hold of, right? And inner HTML is a property. It doesn't have the brackets, right? So you'll notice that methods have not brackets, but parents after them, whereas properties do not. So, okay, and then this is going to equal to, I'm going to write on the next line because I don't have space. You might have enough space since my font is bigger. The other thing we can note here is that how does JavaScript treat white space? It's going to ignore the white space. So if I write it underneath, it's not going to be interpreted any differently than if I wrote it here. Okay, and then I'm going to say welcome, comma space. Well, so if we have something in quotation marks in JavaScript, we refer to this thing as, does anyone know? It's a string, and if it's in quotation marks, we call it a literal string. A literal string is going to print on the page exactly as you have it written here. So in this case, it's going to be welcome, comma, and then we have one space. Right? So it's going to print exactly like that, including the space, because we actually want to have a space after the word welcome. And then we want to add to the welcome, we want to display the username. And this is our first example of using JavaScript dynamically, right? So dynamically it will display a different name depending on what you entered. And so we're going to say, sorry, hold on a second. We use the plus operator to concatenate or string together different strings. So we're going to say welcome plus, and then the name of to display the name of the user, we call the variable name, which is user. And then another plus. And then I want to have an exclamation mark there. And then we're going to give it a break, BR. And then the current date is equals date. So what we've done is we've mixed together literal strings and variables, and the content inside the variable should print on the string, on the screen, sorry. So let's test this out. So when brackets works as it should, this is the little wave sign here. It should give you a preview in the browser. It hasn't been working for a couple quarters for me. It used to work on some machines. So is it working for you? Okay. So if that doesn't work, how many of you are able to bring the preview up?
And the JavaScript works too.
A couple of you? Okay. So let me show the rest of us what we need to do. This is how we should be able to do it. I have filed a ticket. They haven't resolved it. First of all, make sure to save your work. Okay, so we're going to go to the file itself. So go find your file on the desktop. In other words, we can't preview it from brackets, so we're going to preview it outside brackets. Somebody else's stuff. Okay. Now what are those? Okay, so I'll go to the desktop, and on here we should have a file called first. That's where I saved it. So go to where you saved your file. All right, and then what you will do is once you find the file, first.html, you're going to right-click on it. And then you're going to say open with Chrome. And this will be how you will see the preview. So enter your name. And then it's going to say Stani in uppercase, and then it will give you the current date. So that's what you want to have happen when you preview, if everything worked. And maybe not everything worked from the first time, so I'm going to show you, I'm going to break my code intentionally and then show you how to troubleshoot in case you're having issues. Okay, so let's say that I stored the variable user to contain the name, and then when I wanted to refer to it later, I mistakenly made it uppercase U instead of lowercase. And so I'm going to save this with the error. And then let's try to run my code. So, so as you can see, it's not working now. Nothing is happening. And Java has the habit of silently just failing like this. And the only thing we're seeing on the page now is what is this from? Is this first JavaScript from JavaScript? It's from so the only thing we're seeing is the HTML. So something is broken. And then you might be seeing this problem. And to troubleshoot it, you're going to use the Google Developer Tools, which you can get to from here. More tools. So Developer Tools.
F12.
Or Shift I. There's a shortcut as well.
F12.
F12 and also Shift F12.
Or right click.
Right. So there's more than one way. I just wanted to show where it is located. But yeah. All right. And then right here, you have the elements, and what you want is the console. So the console will give you any JavaScript error. If there is a JavaScript error, it's going to be displayed in the console. And right here, it's telling me that I have an uncalled reference error. User with capital U is not defined on line 23. And now I can go back to my file. And so, sure enough, now you need to know a little what's going on. And then if I fix it to match the actual variable name I gave, then this should fix the problem. But this is how you troubleshoot. And if something is not working for you, I'm going to ask you before you call on me or Aaron to fix it. The first thing you need to do is go through the debugger tool and see if you get any error messages, because most of the time, this is what you need. So I'm going to now just give a few minutes to maybe Aaron and I can walk around and make sure that you all have this working. And if not, then I can help you. So if it's all working, raise your hand. Yes?
If you go to like the course module week 1 here, she has test traits for all the skills.
Did you sometimes have your local data on one line?
And there's 2 links in there for each one. The first one's like 40 questions, the second one's 45, so it's quicker. But one's like it's good to do it a little. There are things that you don't know. They'll be like, what is this? Like, I've never heard that out. It's like, oh, it's really how many errors they can't fix.
We're basically done.
Yeah.
So,
it will run. It'll say, "Oh, you're done using JavaScript. I'll head back over to the engine release."
What if it's another
Yeah, so like for instance, he has a different. So it's like the opening and closing time lets the engine know what means to about.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
but I'm sure there's probably
Yeah. And then it probably
you have a jam with your
Yeah. And I think you're singing more on four more often. Yes. Because it does go.
No code.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I'm sure.
still PH loads. Because it's right. We
Awesome.
grab this. What is that? I haven't got it yet.
How does the one basic question, but like, how do everybody do someone
Day one. So sat down, stuff in terminal for analyze, maybe it's like.
he said non-existent section is no value.
No, I love you. You just sat down and started going, and you're like,
Just like CSS.
so you're adding that, that's a code you don't route.
And so that's what's cool. JavaScript is a lot of
Even the depth CSS, even like pretty call, you didn't even know that.
So,
Okay, yes, good, thanks.
oh, you're
Well, there you have it, your first JavaScript. This is the best. Maybe just point a couple of things that, well, let me actually do this. Do you have a question? Oh, by the way, the shortcut I was trying to say when I were keep on saying F12 was Shift Control I.
Oh, that's what you today.
Do you have any question about any particular line of code that you'd like me to explain?
The question.
Yes?
Well, what does document mean?
So document is the name of the object that we use. The get element by ID is a method of the document object. And then it's a little bit confusing because some objects are available, such as the window, without having to say window dot. You can just call methods on it. But for other methods to call, you actually have to call it on the object. And so you say the object name, and then we use a dot. It's called the dot notation to access the properties and methods.
When was that document object created?
I don't know
On
exactly.
the page itself, like
Oh,
when
you mean
load
on the
page?
page? This is the page, right?
Okay. As soon as someone opens the page, that document was created.
No, so we refer to the page as a document, and then there is a document object that is part of the
Okay.
available to you. So maybe one thing we can do is, and then I'll let you have a break after this. Let's take a look here. So document object JavaScript. Sorry, I keep on calling it. It's actually an interface, but I won't go into that. Here we go.
W3 schools HTML DOM document object model, and it shows IQ document dot whatever.
So HTML, so W3 schools.
Just, yeah, I just did W3 schools HTML. Yeah.
So remember how we talked that all the elements on the page, we refer to them in the document object model as nodes? And so the document object, thank you, Aaron. So when the document is loaded in the browser, it becomes a document object, right? So we think of it as an object, and because it's an object, it has the following methods and properties, which as you can see, there are many of them, and this is how we work with the document. And here in this long list, the very first one we used was the get element by ID, which is going to return the element that has the ID attribute with a specified value, and that's exactly what we did here. We specified output, and it returned this element to us. All right. Any other questions about the code? This is either too big or too small. Do you have any other questions? No? All right. You don't have any questions about this line here? Really?
And so you can put the break tag obviously right in there with like the current date, and that's the same thing essentially as PHP, right?
That it can be read in line?
Yeah.
Or interpreted? So you can use markup within strings with certain properties, but not others. If you actually want to use markup, then you want to use inner HTML. There is more than one way you can print to a page. Document ready and inner HTML allows you to, and there is also text content which does not. And there are trade-offs between the two, and we're going to talk about it in the upcoming class. If you don't have any other questions, then let's take our 10-minute break, and then we'll continue. What is this bracket? You just say the one with the HTML extension? You need to say the HTML. Probably that's right.
screen.
This one.
The fine. Yeah, I do.
Did you see the brown HTML book? Like that bit?
Oh, yeah.
It's the brown JavaScript book.
Brown.
When I bought that HTML book like 2 quarters ago, I haven't no, I don't. What's that? Yeah. Like I said, if you look at the HTML ones, it's the same dude. So.
How we do it here? I want to get rid of the space.
Yeah, and it seems
Oh, what?
As long as it's double space.
I wouldn't success too much of this style in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes, exactly. The limit, that's pretty. Sure, as long as you have key counters, you have a limit.
Let's see. Do it.
Sorry, I was late.
It's fine, don't worry about it.
What, did I miss anything?
Probably.
I
don't know what
quick, you
came
said
in.
there was a quiz.
Yeah.
I got my, I got the CSS quiz downloaded.
Good job.
Okay. And it's a good thing to take those tests because they kind of like, you'll start to ask us something, I don't know what that is.
And then.
Okay, to know what you don't know.
Is there a credit given?
So basically to help you find your.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you just do a wall of shame. Those are freakonomics about how shame is very motivating.
Yeah.
Walk of shame?
So shame is motivating.
At first I was like, not like Game of Thrones walk of shame, please no. I can't think of anything anyone in this class has done that justifies that.
I heard in Colombia people always ran through red lights, and so the mayor got mines to
In
go
Medellin,
through
did you say?
in Bogota, Colombia.
Oh, yeah.
People ran through red lights, so the mayor hired like 100 mines with stickers. That if someone went through red light, the mine would run up and slap the sticker on their window. So it was a pain in the ass to get off. That said, "I run through red lights," and they found that in Bogota, like people running through red lights dropped drastically because of those mines. Yeah, and he was
Is that
like,
your cat in your
"Look
profile
like you
picture?
shaking."
One of my cats.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wow. I just have this guy and, sorry, so just have him. And, yeah, he's got and he has a little white tip on his tail.
If you put cats on your assignments,
What's that?
if you put cats on your final assignments, it's great.
Oh, right on. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
All right, let's go over the last lecture in the previous series, and then if we have time, we'll do another example. Or maybe, actually not another example, but maybe I'll give you some hints for the homework, so that you know how to approach it. And, all right, so we did chapter 2. Are you laughing at me? Yes, you are. Why is that?
Oh, no, because what you showed me just now helped me figure out the homework. And that's why.
You're joyful. Okay, so we did chapter parts A and B from these lectures, and let's do part C, which is how do we write a script. And so we need to know how to work together with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And integrate them on a page. And the suggested approach is what we call progressive enhancement. And what that means is, are you familiar with this term? What does it mean? Is there anyone who is an artist in this class? So when you draw a painting of, let's say, a landscape, do you first do your sketch, or do you go on one corner and start painting the sun in the greatest detail? Which approach should you take? That was not that's not the answer we want.
Wrong, you don't.
You might be unique in this, but what I was getting at is that generally you sketch out your shapes large first, and then you add finer detail. And this is the approach you want to take with coding as well, right? So you want to get something working instead of going down a particular method and then working out all the fine details. And that's what we call progressive enhancement. So maybe you can also think of it as prototyping if you prefer. You have something out, and then you have a working version of it, and then you build on it, right? So that's what we call progressive enhancement. So we have what I showed you last time as well. We have the 2 different layers to the web page, which are the behavior. The behavior is let's start from here, sorry. So the content of the structure would be the HTML files for this. Presentation or style would be the CSS, and then the behavior or the interaction, the JavaScript. And so we already created the JavaScript together. Excuse me. So JavaScript is written in plain text, just like HTML and CSS. We used inner HTML to write to the page. There is also a document write is a different way. So there is more than one way to do things in JavaScript often. Document write is a very easy way to write on the page. It's not generally used a lot in production, ever anymore. But it's just a very easy way to just write something on a page. And we're going to use it especially at first as we learn. Eventually we're going to abandon it and use the other ways of writing to a page. So again, document, you now know what that is, right? The document object, right, is the method. It's a method and it has parentheses, and then if the method needs something in order to work, this would be referred to as the arguments or the parameters. And in this case, the parameters are the string welcome. Right? So it's going to write welcome. Okay, we get the document object. To connect the document with the methods and properties that belong to this object, we use what we call the dot notation, or also referred to as the member object. And you can notice that when you say dot, After the object, what do you see on the page? You see a list of options of the available methods and properties that belong to this object. Right? And so this is the method, and the method takes arguments or parameters. Arguments and parameters is a word, are two words that we use interchangeably. Generally, technically, they're not the same, but we'll talk about the difference when we talk about functions. So for now, we'll just use them interchangeably. And let's see, so this is a string, and with strings we use quotation marks to indicate the text. You can use either single or double quotation marks in JavaScript. You just have to be consistent. If you open with a single, you need to close with a single and vice versa. Right? And then you're going to get welcome displayed. And then the next thing to talk about is how do you link a JavaScript file to the HTML page. So what we did in the first example is we used the script tag, but also you can put it in a separate file, and this is normally what you should do, unless you just have a couple lines. And so to put it in a separate file, we still use the script tag, but instead of putting the code in it, we're going to put the code in a different file and then use the source attribute to reference that other file. And JavaScript is going to be included, and it's essentially the same. The effect is the same whether you put it on the same page or in a different page and link to it. Right? And the source attribute is going to tell you where the file is located, including the path. It's just as with images. And JavaScript is going to run where it's found on the page. So when it encounters a script tag, it's going to run the script. It actually loads the script. So when I say it runs the script, that's the the general term, but of course there are more steps that happen behind the scene. So it's going to load the script, and then it's going to see if it needs to perform any actions. It's going to see if there are any functions that it needs to load, and then it's going to display. The way that the lines are displayed on the page, unless you do something to change that, is going to be sequential, right? So if you write hello world first, and then today is Monday, this is the order you're going to see on the page. There are ways to change the control flow on the page, and we'll talk about them in other lectures. So let's see. Oh, I wanted to show you also, there is one other thing here, one other link in our week 1. There is a tool called JSFiddle, and this is one of the cloud IDEs that you can put your JavaScript to run it online. If you are maybe at the library and you still really want to do JavaScript and it doesn't have any other editor, then you can just pull up JSFiddle and to allow you to run it online, right? Any questions so far? Comments?
CodePen's also a good website where if you want to like host websites, you can even press a button that says like hire me. You're looking for freelance.
I think he's put some. You can post it on discussion if you want, but that's just one reference. There are many other great ones too. All right. So I was thinking about maybe talking about what you need to know about your homework a little more. Next.
I was going to say for JSFiddle, what's nice is if you're having an issue, try and like reduplicate it in JSFiddle, and then you can save it and send it to somebody. So if you keep getting this problem, you're like, I don't know why it's doing this. Instead of sending me like your entire code, that maybe you just need this one piece that you can't figure out, and then you don't need everything else. So you can like copy and paste what's relevant into here, and then save it and then send it. If you look on Stack Overflow, a lot of times it'll say, here's your solution. And then beneath it, it'll have a link for JSFiddle. We click on it, it'll show how they corrected it, so that you can go, oh, and like it's running live in this window, so it's easier to like, oh, this does work. I can see it working. Or if it's
I believe you have to sign in though, right? Don't you have to sign in for that?
Yeah, it's free.
Yeah, so it's free, but you just need to sign in. And also, right now we're learning, what we're learning right now is pure JavaScript or plain vanilla JavaScript. And then later as we can add libraries here as well.
Yeah, if you're ever on CodePen and you're trying their code and it's not working for you, then they have a little section there too. You click on it and you can see what libraries they're including. And so it's like, I'm not using the jQuery library. That's why it's not rendering. And so then you can figure that out.
Understand. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have about 20 minutes. I'm trying to see what is the best approach here. Well, how about this? Go ahead and open up the homework. So we won't be doing this for every homework, but I would like to give you some hints on the first one. I would like you to read the homework and then try to think how you're going to solve it. And what I would like you to tell me is you think that these are the things you need to do, and you think that you don't know how to do something. So this is the kind of discussion I'd like to have next, right? The homework is going to be under assignments, and I guess the students without Canvas don't have that. So the rest of you, please open the assignment, and if you come back up here, the students without Canvas, I'll give you access again. You want to come up to get access? I don't remember your email, so we'll just share it with you. And Emilio, please come here as well.
I have that.
You have it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have it? Do you have Canvas? You register for the class, so you should have Canvas. Let's see here. This will go under assignments. Yeah, this is the one. So look at the assignment one. And then spend a couple minutes, and you can talk with your neighbor, trying to think, what do I need to do to get this working, and what don't I know how to do it? I think I need to do.
I think so.
And I'll be right back.
There's two.
It's assignment one invoice, right?
What was that?
It's assignment one invoice for the Google Doc.
Yes. Here. This is what I think. I think that's all we need. Of course, help to write on a page. Including how to write text. Pasting formatted.
Codes from the first time you can go to view. And then just click on that. And then make that something. None of those items.
I'll take a look.
Hold on, take that back.
Okay, let's work on this as a group for a couple of minutes, and then I'll show you the hints I prepared for you, and then you can work on this in class even since this is the first comic. We won't be doing this generally, right? So what do you need to know to solve this problem? So what is the problem? Is everyone clear on what the problem is that you need to solve?
You need to calculate the tax for a given invoice.
Okay, calculate tax. And what else?
Get an input from a user.
Okay, so input, get input. And then I think we're going to put with them as a calculate, tax. Anything else?
You need to round off.
You need to round off to how many?
2 decimals.
Good job. To 2 decimals, okay. Anything else? Are we good?
We need to add the tax to the total.
Okay, so we'll do this calculate tax and total. I'll put it on the same line. Total. And then anything else?
Output.
We need to output to the user because otherwise they will not know. Yeah. All right, anything else?
This might like give them
Too much of one?
too much of a hint. If I say it.
Go ahead and say it. It's the first assignment.
Okay, you have to pass the value as an integer.
You have to pass the value as an integer. Actually, I didn't add this here. That's a great point. Or actually, is it an integer or
To float.
a float? Because an integer is a whole number, but what if they want to have 25.5? But that's a great one, and I actually forgot to put it in the hints and all that. So you need to get the input and convert input to a float. And I will explain what this means, so thank you for the good one. Okay, so I think this covers what we need to know. Let me just add the parse float here real quick. Convert. There we go. All right. So you define your tasks, you know what you need to do, and then you need to figure out how to do it. And this being a first assignment, here are some hints, a lot of them being built-in methods that you can use to accomplish the task. So to get user input, you're going to use the prompt method. And what you will do is you will go to the link, see an example, and then use it accordingly, right? And then, what's it your name? Calvin? So Calvin pointed out, here is the thing with the prompt. When you take the input from a prompt, it's going to return a string. And we need to be, we can't really do math with a string, so we need to convert the string to a float. If you read the definition of the prompt, which you need to do this, it's going to tell you that the prompt returns the input value if the user clicks OK. And it's going to return, you need to start reading the documentation carefully, and it tells here return value is a string. So what Calvin was saying is that because we want to do math, we can't use it as a string, we need to convert it. And so in JavaScript, we have a parse int or parse float, which allows you to parse one data type to another one. And this is the parse float, which will allow you to take a string and convert it to a float. A float is a number that has, it's not a whole number, but it has decimals, right? So you can research this here and then convert it to a float. You're going to need to do multiplication, and you might know this, but asterisk is what we use in JavaScript to multiply, and the plus is a plus. Let's see what else. Oops. And then someone mentioned here that we want to have output formatted so it only has 2 digits. So in JavaScript, we have a toFixed method, and then you pass it as an argument the number of digits that you want to format, and it's going to format. So right here, we have a number of 5.56789, and if we apply toFixed with an argument of 2, it's going to change it to, not change it, but it's going to display it as 5.57. And if I change this to 4, so you pass in this case, you want 2 digits because money is displayed with, 2 digits after the decimal. So this is your toFixed function. And how do you write on a page, including formatting with HTML?
Document.write.
Document.write or WriteLine is one way that I'm suggesting to you. And I have put a link to document.write. And again, in this assignment, your job will be to put all this together for accomplishing a page that looks like the screenshots. In the future, you will not be given hints, so many hints, but just this one time. Any questions?
Where are the hints at? The links?
I just posted them in week 1. It's called assignment 1 hints. You should just refresh perhaps the page because I just did it now. Okay, so I think that's all for today. You can have 10 minutes to just wrap up your code and ask me any questions you might have, and I'll see you on Monday.
So that's in modules, week 1?
It's always in week 1. It's always going to be posted in the week where
I see. Sorry.
you may need to refresh your page.
Yeah.
It's always in modules. You can have a recording.